Good evening. So we began to see last week the famous story about the potential converts who approached Hillel and Shammai. So we're going to get a little bit more into those stories today. We won't complete them all, but hopefully we can offer some insights into them. Tana Rabbanan. We learned in a brisa. A brisa is a collection of statements by the Tanoim, who are the Mishnaic sages, but they were not incorporated into the Mishnah, but they're from an outside source. Maisa, there was a story Benachri Echad with one Gentile, Shebo Lefnei Shammai, who approached Shammai. Amar Lei, he asked Shammai, Kama Toros yesh lechem? How many Torahs do you have? Let's understand, perhaps he was asking, how many different sets of laws do you have? We'll talk about that some more later. Amar Lei, Shammai responded, Shtayim, two of them. Torah Shebiksav, there's the written law, V'Torah Shebal Peh, and the oral law. Amar Lei, he responded back, Shebiksav ani ma'amincha, I believe you about the written Torah, v'shebal peh, but the oral Torah, eini ma'amincha, I do not believe you as to its authenticity. So Gaireni, convert me, almanas shetilamedeni Torah shebiksav. I want you to convert me, and with the stipulation being, you will teach me the written Torah, and apparently he didn't want to learn anything about the oral Torah. Ga'arbo. Shammai shouted at him. Votzio ben Ezifa, and he kicked him out angrily. So one explanation as to why Shammai kicked him out angrily is from the Reb Lazer Moshe Horowitz. He wants to suggest, because we know that there are 7 Noahide laws that apply to Gentiles as well, and those laws also come with oral commentary. So the whole notion that somehow he didn't want to know the oral commentary, that wasn't valid whether he was going to convert or not convert. And we'll see a little bit more as to what the issue was later on. Bolifnei Hillel. He came in front of Hillel, made the same stipulation, Gaire, and Hillel converted him. Yumakama, the first day, he started teaching him how to read Hebrew. I just want to mention there is a lengthy discussion amongst the poskim, among the halachic authorities, as to whether or not it is permissible to teach Torah to a Gentile who wants to convert. There are many poskim who are of the opinion that you really cannot teach them any Torah until after conversion. In which case, that's why over here, Hillel converted him and then started teaching him. Others say no, that when we discuss now how he taught him, that was really prior to the conversion. So the first day, Amalei Hillel said to him, Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet. He started teaching him the letters of the Hebrew alphabet, and he showed him the first 4 letters. L'macher, the next day, Apachle. The next day, Hillel changed the names of the letters. Amarle, so the convert said to him, Va'etmol lo amart li hachi. That's not how you taught this to me yesterday. Amarle, so Hillel responded to him, Lav alai didi kosamachta. Do you not see how you have to rely on me to explain matters to you? And you can't just be satisfied with what's written. Dal penami smochalai, you should also rely on me for further oral commentary. Now, we're going to discuss today and then perhaps a little bit more in our next shiur, what was Shammai's opposition coming from? One approach I'll give to you today from Rabbi Nassan of Breslov, and then another approach from Ritzadok we'll have in the next shiur. Rabbi Nassan explains that Shammai was of the opinion that somebody such as himself, who was very learned, very pious, and in a very high level of holiness, should not be getting involved with people who are on the lower strata of holiness. And somebody wanted to convert, but was putting all sorts of stipulations on his converting. Shammai said he's not somebody who has the potential to reach great spiritual heights. And somebody on my level should not be involved with him. But Hillel's approach was the opposite. Hillel believed that the greater a person is, the more spiritual light that person possesses, and the more ability and responsibility that that person has to try to spread his light even to the darkest and lowest of places. So even though this potential convert was coming before him with an attitude that may have given you reason to question his sincerity and his ultimate potential, but Hillel felt that as I am the leader of the Jewish people and a leading sage, I have to have the ability to reach everybody, no matter how difficult they are making it. And therefore, Hillel was ready to engage with this person despite his stipulations. Rav Kook has a whole approach to understanding this particular dialogue over here, with the man coming before him saying, convert me on condition that you only teach me the written Torah and not the oral Torah. I want to share with you Rav Kook's approach, but to be honest, and I say this really whenever I quote anybody, but it's especially true over here, I am not going 100% with Rav Kook's approach. This is sort of like my approach inspired by what Rav Kook said. Some of what I'm about to share with you is from Rav Kook. Some of it is my own spin on things. When he first approached Shammai, he said, Kama Toros yesh lachem? How many Torahs do you have? So the point was that some religions have different sets of rules for different people. And that was the first question he had. Are you the type of religion who the rules are different depending upon who you are? Or are your rules consistent for everybody? Shammai assured him that even though we have a Torah shebiksav and a Torah shebal peh, a written and an oral law, but it's all one consistent set of rules, Torah achas yeh lachem, that there is one set of rules for everybody. But this particular potential convert was a bit skeptical. He was interested in the Torah shebiksav, the written Torah, which was given to Moshe Rabbeinu on Har Sinai, but not in the oral Torah. Why not? So if my understanding of Rav Kook is correct, Rav Kook explains, because there are certain people that if you come and present them something, and I'm going to use a word he doesn't quite use, but I'm going to say magical thinking. You tell them this is something which is from God, and it came down on Mount Sinai, and they're all impressed with that whole supernatural presentation you're giving them. And that's something they're ready to accept. And that's why he was ready to accept the written Torah. But then come and try to get him also to buy into the oral Torah, which you're telling him it's not up there in neon in the same way. Because the oral Torah is something which, if you want to really understand it, takes a lot of sweat on your part. Okay? It's not something that just is handed to you magically from God. It's something that takes sweat and toil, and that people were able to build and develop on their own sweat and toil. That all of a sudden I'm not interested in it. Give me the magical stuff from God, but not the stuff that you actually have to work on and apply yourself to really build and develop. And therefore, that's why Shammai rejected him. Because to really understand Torah, it doesn't just come and is handed to you. It's something you really have to apply yourself to, and you've got to work to understand it. Hillel, on the other hand, despite being aware of these same challenges with this person's approach and how he wanted to be taught Torah, Hillel felt that this man truly had a desire to connect to Judaism. And he truly had a real spiritual heart. Okay, he wasn't educated and he didn't understand. But if his heart and his desire was in the right place, Hillel felt he could convert him and then start teaching him. And over time, he would bring him along to a proper understanding of the approach to the study of the Torah, which, as we saw in the story, is exactly what happened. Then there was another convert. Shuv Maisa Benachriyecha, there was another story with another Gentile, Shebal Lifnei Shammai, who approached Shammai. Amarle, he said to Shammai, Gaireni, convert me, Almanas Shetilamedeni Kol HaTorah Kula, on condition that you teach me the entire Torah, Kishani Omed Al Regel Achas, when I am standing on one leg. Dachvo Ba'amas Habinyan Shebiyado, Shammai was holding a measuring stick in his hand, and Shammai took the measuring stick and pushed away the person. Bolefnei Hillel, he came before Hillel. Gaire and Hillel converted him. And he told him, of course, the famous line. Amarle, he said to him, do you want to know the whole Torah on one leg? Da'alecha sani, that which is hateful unto you. Lechavrecha lo sa'avid, do not do to your friend. Zuhi kol haTorah, that is the entirety of the Torah. V'idach, everything else is pirusha, is commentary. Zil gemor, go and study it. Now, there's a lot to unpack in this second of the three stories. We'll start unpacking a little bit this evening and continue our next shir. The Marsha wants to explain that he was looking for one principle that underlines the entire Torah. And Shammai said that's not possible. That the Torah has many, many different principles and foundations upon which it rests. And therefore, he felt that to go ahead and try to boil it down to just one principle, in Shammai's mindset, that was impossible. And we will discuss in our next shir how Rabbi Tzadok HaKohen Milublin explains this idea. But before coming back to that, Shammai told him, that which is hateful unto you, do not do unto others. The Sefer HaTzioni, which is a Kabbalistic commentary on Chumash, written almost 1,000 years ago, says that if you take a look in the Aseres Hadibros, in the 10 Commandments, you will find that the total number of letters in the Aseres Hadibros is 620. The number of mitzvos in the Torah is 613. So there are 7 more letters in the Aseres Hadibros. If you count 613 letters, meaning you go through the 10 commandments covering the same number of letters as there are commandments, you're left with 2 words. And those 2 words are asher l're'echa, that are to your friend. To tell you that after the whole Torah, but what you're left with and what's important is friendship. And again, as I said, We will discuss some more insights on this particular Gemara in our next shir. And once again, this shir was sponsored in memory of Chana Devora Bas Avram. And if you would like to sponsor any of the shiurim, please contact me on Facebook or through email at cslando@gmail.com. Have a great evening.